Hello and welcome to another episode of the MTG Arena Run. Today we're going to be continuing on our slog through the stock decks, see if we can make them better. This one is one deck that is actually kind of interesting, but I'm actually kind of curious as to what direction to take this one. So this is the Orzhov Eternal Thirst deck, so it centers mostly on life gain. I originally submitted a style where it plays around vampires. That one is still very valid and actually quite aggro. This one's a bit more controlling though, and I made a few tweaks. So let's start with our minuscule early game package. 4 copies of Leonin Vanguard, 4 copies of Ajani's Pridemate, and 4 copies of Orzhov Enforcer. This is our early game package. You kind of want to have at least one of these in the early game. Admittedly, this is awfully light. I'm not exactly aiming to build up a really big Ajani's Pridemate. In fact, this guy's more of a lightning rod than anything. But it's nice to have him stick once in a while. Also, callouts to Legion's Landing to make more tokens. And a single copy of Dawn of Hope. We will gain some significant amounts of life, so this is our way of drawing cards. Admittedly, I originally posted more copies of this one in. I only have one right now. But also because I want to test out some of the other finishers. That said, you definitely want to have at least another copy of this card. Then we have 2 copies of Resplendent Angel. This one, again, another Lightning Rod of sorts. You start the white-black deck with 1. But otherwise, we're not exactly gaining so much health that we're going to trigger this a lot. That said, at least it pumps itself, so there's an army in a can. Mortify, very important, a lot better than Murder in this for this deck, that's for sure. Again with the mythics, 2 copies of Seraph of the Scales. This one is there partly for removal, partly for the afterlife, and that's also why we have Teysa Karlov. Take note, she also gives creature tokens vigilance and lifelink, so this is actually quite important for us. We have ways of producing. Well, granted, most of the ways we produce tokens already have lifelink, but the vigilance is kind of important, and not all our tokens will have lifelink. Basilica Bellhaunt is a shot in the arm out of nowhere. Gain 3 life out of nowhere. Combine it with our individual minuscule ways of gaining mana. You could gaining life. You could shoot up to 5 life easily and make yourself a 4/4. Settle the Wreckage, very important. I just don't have copies of Kaya's Rat right now, though that would be great. That said, Settle the Wreckage is still not bad as a substitute for this one. 2 copies of Vraska's Contempt. This one's probably the weakest one in the bunch. I could easily drop down the black mana by subbing this with Conclave Tribunal or Ixalan's Binding. But I'm keeping this one in for now because it's an instant speed. 2 copies of Call to the Feast. This one's a carryover from the original deck. Originally, I had Divine Visitation, so this would have been really bonkers. But as it is now, this one's probably the weakest part of the deck. Could easily be replaced. Now, as for payoffs, we got a copy of Regal Bloodlord. I want to try 2, but at 5 mana, it's a bit too much. Then, at least this one just makes bats. Rather, it just makes a bat every time you gain life. Doesn't care how much life you gain, so you're not going to go off with this one that much. This one's our better payoff. You gain lots of life, but what you do with it? Well, let's spend it and use it as removal. That's a good way. Ethereal Absolution, also very good removal. Also very good way of making tokens. It's actually... And it combos well with some of our other stuff. The caveats, this costs 6 mana, so... Even if we have more copies of this, I think 1 is still the best. And this one's another out of nowhere card, Revival Revenge. We have a lot of cards we want to get back that cost 3 or less, which is probably the majority of our creatures. And once in a while, we could gain a lot of life, and more importantly, hit our opponent for quite a bit. If our opponent's also in life gain, this is a big hit. Now, we do note that we have 2 payoffs that are enchantments, and these are the better ones. Actually, have 3 payoffs that are enchantments. So you might actually want, this might actually be one of those some tragic poet decks Another note that we can make is that we have a lot of multicolored here, so this could also easily be a Hero of Precinct 1 deck. Also very good at making creature tokens, so those are other ways we can explore. So sideboard's 25 lands, Archer for Aska, Memorial to Glory. Now I learned my lesson from last time, so although this deck is a little bit more lenient in having tap lands, I just chose not to run any. So I could probably pay the price for that one. Now in the sideboard, 3 copies of Cast Down, cheaper removal. Basically, a lot of the stuff we want to bring in is cheaper than normal. So Kitesail Freebooter, also cheap. Consecrate Consume. This one is basically additional sacrifice effect. It's our one way around hexproof creatures. Same with the Playcrafters. Additional copy of Settle the Wreckage. Copy of Cleansing Nova. 2 copies of Eldest Reborn. This does get back some of, well, it actually gets back about these good payoffs at least, but this might actually be one of the weaker cards here. Lyra Dawnbringer is there for extra life gain. Actually, I think this is one of the decks that can easily sub into a Hero Precinct 1. Maybe even mainboard, so we could end up subbing stuff like the Vraska's Contempt or the Settle the Wreckage, then put the Hero Precinct 1 in. So there we go. That's the deck, and let's put it through its paces. I'm quite busy recently, so haven't had much time. It's been traditional constructed. So we're gonna chip in our 1000. Put the deck to the test. And let's see how well we do here. Again, I do manage to sneak off a win here or there, but we'll see how well we do with this one. My real concern is that most of our game is so mid to late game that we probably will get punished if we run into something early. Now this one, we're probably gonna get punished against an aggro deck, but we do have all our mana. So I'm gonna keep this in the hope of drawing into something later. Probably a very big mistake. Let's start this one. Alternately, another option we could do here is we could start running a lot of early game discard. Duress, Divest. So play the Dawn of Hope, though we're never... But this is basically an outlier card. We're gonna have to deal with our opponents based on these colors. I'm expecting to see... Ooh, taking 2 for the... So Thought Erasure, we're going to probably lose... We're probably gonna lose Seraph of the Scales. That's our biggest card here. There you go. That said, at least the other 2 cards can activate Dawn of Hope, so we can draw some cards back. And we got late turn and we got an additional Mortify. So this is Sultai Midrange, if I'm not mistaken. I would think it ran more creatures. This could also easily just be This could also easily be just very heavy Sultai with very heavy Demir with a Sultai Splash for Hydroid Krasis. No. Let's disappoint our opponent. It's easy to play Call to the Feast, but we can generate tokens uncounterable. So he's gonna play Disinformation Campaign. We'll let that resolve. He's gonna draw a card, discard. I'm gonna just mortify this right now. So we're gonna ditch the Call to the Feast. Fortunately, you can't play both Angel and Vanguard. I'm probably just gonna... I could also just wait it out. The opponent knows we have... So another Disinformation Campaign. We'll let that one stick. So we're gonna discard the Vraska's Contempt now. Make a token. Interestingly, it tells us our opponent is stuck on mana. So the Disinformation Campaign is quite interesting. So let's play Luon in Vanguard. Play Johnny's Pride Mate. So we got ourselves a mini package. So I'm expecting some of this stuff to get removed. Most likely the Pride Mate. Okay, he's got his other land. Neutral of Soot, but the board. Okay, so our opponent. Okay, so our opponent has a map. So our opponent is playing a lot of mass removal. Still haven't seen what creatures our opponent's running. I'm still expecting Krasis. I also have not seen any reason for our opponent to play green. So it's awfully very interesting to see what our opponent's up to, especially since he's looking at our graveyard and whatnot. Thought Erasure. Okay. We're going to lose either the Bloodlord or the Angel. Most likely the Resplendent Angel. Which is not bad. I'd rather keep the Bloodlord at least. Now, it's possible... Now, he drew a card. It's possible he finally got his 5th land. Nope, he hasn't. So... just make a token. And we got ourselves a Godless Shrine, so... And the nice thing is, it checks at the end step, so... decline. Pay life. Play the Bloodlord, since I don't think our opponent... yeah. So now our opponent has to... Now this means these cards are kind of useless, but... we will probably be behind if we run into a Doom Whisperer. I might actually just have to chuck this guy up just to start drawing into cards again. In fact, I suspect our opponent's thinking of removing something. So based on what our opponent's played in this matchup, lots of non-creatures, I'm definitely going to play Sidon Kiteshell Freebooter. That's an easy given. So here comes a Hydroid Krasis for 3. So swing with the life gain token. So we need to draw cards. I'm definitely gonna do that. Okay, got ourselves an Orzhov Enforcer. So we got ourselves another bat so we can chump block the Hydroid Krasis. It incentivizes our opponent to play Disinformation Campaign, which is kind of okay given our situation. Cry wipes. We don't... well, but at least we still have a blocker. And he's still got nothing. So... I guess I'm just gonna... fight this guy. So our opponent's playing massive sweeps like Carnarium and Ritual of Soot. So our opponent definitely does not have creatures. Except for the Hydroid Krasis. So given that, we cannot sub out our... we can sub out our small package, but that sounded so demeaning. We could sub out a small creature package, but I think we could catch our opponent off guard with that. So I'd still rather keep it. And then the Craving gets us nets us a token. So we'll just make the token end of turn. Try to keep drawing cards off this thing. Yeah, I guess having a second one of this is important. You want to draw this one early. I'm really curious what their opponent's going to be up to now. I would not be surprised if our opponent brought in creatures, but I'm definitely keeping the Mortifies. The Vraska's Contempts, probably need to keep those because I'm expecting Planeswalkers. Eldest Reborns could come in, I suppose. Settle the Wreckages are an easy side out. This would be a nice place to put the Divine Visitation. So we'll make the token. We'll lose the small flyer. gain, draw a card. Seraph, that's not good, so I need to attack with everything, then draw a card again. Okay, so I'm gonna lose one of these cards. I think the best bet is to... Okay, here's the thing. We already have one Seraph in the graveyard. So I kind of want to lose the tape. Yeah, I kind of want to lose Teysa. So the Teysa's also another easy side out. We lose the Seraph as well. So 2, 4, 5, 6. Unless our opponent's got another Cry of the Carnarium. Wait. So I still want to draw cards. Actually, that's a good question. If you know you're gonna have to discard, would you rather just draw more or discard them all? So we know we have to keep hitting our opponent. So we bring him down to 3 life. I am willing to draw another card. Not to mortify. I'm just gonna play the second Pride Mate now. Since your Sabotage forces him to counter, that's okay. So he brings back the Disinformation Campaign, so I will lose Call to the Feast. So this is essentially a Dimir deck, just splashing green. Opponent took 4 damage just from the green. We're also going to... So we definitely don't want to side in a big creature like Lyra. So our creature package is just fine. Oh, he's playing Vraska. He's probably got a sweep also if he's going to... Okay, so we lose the call. We're also going to side out the call since... Wait, maybe? Yeah, we will side out the calls. Now, the question is, what does our opponent do to answer? Minister's Insight. Okay, he's drawing cards, so... He can make a token. Or that does it too. He's got 2 mana, so he can kill one thing. Kill one thing, gain 2 life. Probably a Moment of Craving. That's one way to catch up. Okay, so we managed to steal a win out of Dimir Splash Green. So now that we know what we're up to, freebooters come in, settle goes, call feast goes. I'm keeping the revival because it's one way to get stuff back. Shame you can't use that at instant speed, but that's okay. I think I want Plague Crafters also. I want to keep the Basilica Bell Haunt. So let's see what are our underperformers here. Vona's important. Seraph is okay. Actually, we just need to make only 1 cut. I might just cut Revival. Okay, so let's keep it that way. So it's a deck that's literally all over the place, but so we definitely want the Dawn of Hopes. Those are another bunch of rares I have to craft. Okay, opponent mulligan, so I'm willing to take a mulligan. Also because it's very scary to just have Private and nothing else. You want to have at least bare minimum 3 lands. It's not 3 lands, but we have both colors, so I'm more willing to keep this. Opponent mulligans again. Do I want to mulligan again or not? No, we're on the draw, so I'm gonna keep this one. So we're slightly heavier on white than black, but yeah, that said, having all your important cards cost 3 or 4 is not great. So we're gonna have to dump them. So at least we got 2 Pride Mates in a row, so we're probably gonna lose them both to a Cry of Carnarium. Opponent is not taking damage early. We definitely could use another land right about now. There you go. So play this. Now we will lose all these guys to Ritual of Soot. Wait, is this a counter spell? Hey, you know, if that's an early counter spell, I'm fine with that. I'm just gonna attack. I'm just gonna attack with one. I'm not gonna send the second Pride Mate in. Our opponent's position is slightly precarious with the, okay, 4 mana. So I'm gonna try to bait our opponent. I suspect our opponent kept a counter heavy hand, so I'm just gonna bait him with Resplendent Angel. Oh no. Okay, maybe he's not counter heavy hand. Maybe he's just really got nothing. Well, or at least this is not... Ooh, we're gonna lose the Bell Haunt. Yeah. I'm gonna play Seraph since he's seen it already. So we're definitely going for... We're going ham aggro right now. Our opponent's relying on Krasis to get back. Ritual of Soot means we lose 2, but so we still have action. Sarah gains Vigilance, because why not? So, Prime... Ironically, we can win the game if our opponent plays a... Well, if he's only Hydroid Krasis, so probably not. So I'm actually curious. Can you guys hear the background of what I'm right now or not? Just curious. I'm probably find out in the comments. And let's hope there's no accidental. Let's hope there's no accidental copyright concerns, because I don't think Facebook cares about what music gets played on their videos. But so far I've heard a bunch of nothing, so it's okay, I guess. Opponent's down to... So cast down... Yeah, we'll let that resolve because we still get tokens. So we end the turn here. Ironically, if our opponent plays Cry of the Carnarium, we can save Pride Mate by playing one of our Vraska's Contempts. No, it's Ritual Soot, that doesn't save it, so we'll let that resolve. So we got a bunch of removal, but nothing good for it. Okay, we got something. So problem also is our opponent is very close to... No, let's see what he discards. Okay, he didn't discard it yet. Wilderness Reclamation. Oh, I so wish I had Mortify now. Did our opponent just not open into one of this? My other question is, what is his win condition? So it's part Sinister Sabotage, yeah. Actually, you might... That's a weird case. Wouldn't you have just been better off letting it resolve so that the moment you kill it, you get it back? Just one of those weird questions. But anyway, we got 4 turns to win. Very unlikely though. So he untaps. And we're right now in the position where we have to deal with an opposing Eldest Reborn. Thankfully, we got 2 copies of the Contempt. So I suspect this is probably the weaker one. Yeah. So he gets this information campaign. We're gonna lose both these cards. Yeah, really curious what the real Reclamation is for. I've not seen him play anything that merits it. Well, it does keep counters up, that's for sure. Now, unfortunately, our opponent's gonna get something. We're gonna be behind, and we'd have to deal with a counter spell. I'm just gonna concede here early to save some time. So we're gonna cut out the Vraska's Contempts since our opponent's. So what do we put back? Call to the Feast again? Yeah, that's the cheapest thing we have. I could also just do Consecrate. But yeah, let's just put back the Call to the Feast. We need to be threat heavy, not answer heavy. Also kind of a weird game. We're quite close, but yeah, we might have been a bit greedy a few times. So Vanguard into Pridemate into Pridemate. Definitely going to keep this first. Forces our opponent to answer these guys one by one. We're opening ourselves up to a Ritual of Soot. But we don't have a choice. This is literally the hand we're dealt with. We have to go for it. So this... So this buys us one turn. So this buys us one turn from Ritual of Soot. So this information campaign, we have to discard Arch because we need black mana soon. So 4, 8, 9. So we lose the Christ, but that's okay. We still have 2 beakers here. Let's play Godsword. So this is the, so we'll see if our opponent has the ritual for the out. He probably does. Oh no, it's Reclamation, so he might have some sort of bounce. Spot removal, like cast out. Well, it doesn't matter, I'm going for it. Just show me what you got. There's a Moment of Craving, so he goes down to 1 life. Ooh, spicy. Does he draw the ritual? It's a disinformation campaign. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's discard Isolated Chapel. He gets to... Yeah. And so unfortunately I aggroed out. So we do need to have an aggro package. Definitely want to have the Hero of Precinct 1. Something to side into at least. So not bad. First win. Let's keep going. Let's see how well we do with this hodgepodge of a deck. Deck was very good, though I think it was designed to prey against control. So yeah, we got our 2, 3, 4. So I'm definitely keeping this one. Not the best 2, 3, 4 though, since none of these help each other. So I'm definitely gonna play both planes. I'm going to make this look like a mono life. I'll play the swamp as late as possible. Merfolk Trickster or removal. So definitely something is gonna die here. There's the cast out. So there's a Teeth of Sanity, block. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem for us. So we're gonna have to try to aggro our opponent out, which is probably not easy since our opponent's got a live Teeth. So definitely the cast downs come in. Our Kitesail freebooters come in, if nothing else, just to be a roadblock. Okay, so he lost lands, which is good. He's got another Pridemate, which is okay. So 5, 6, 7. I'm going to play the Call to the Feast now just to trigger Arch of Vraska. So Definitely swinging with Teysa. I could have swung with the Pride Mate also, but I know I'm gonna swing next turn with these guys. They even have Vigilance. So this variant of Sultai control seems to be unlike the other one, has Thief of Sanity, so it's gonna rely on playing your opponent's threats. Our deck is pretty much the kind of deck this guy preys upon. So you lose the Bloodlord and the Seraph. What do you take? Orzhov and Enforcer. Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna... Well, I'm not gonna swing with everything. I'm just gonna swing with most of everything. There's another cast down. Well, so at least we're not quite dealing with him. Okay. Yeah, we need to draw something more significant. At least we do have a live arch, if nothing else. Question: am I willing to throw away? Well, if he attacked with Enforcer, I probably would throw away Teysa Carlo. Considering I'm... Okay, those are 2 more lands that are gone. That's good. That's a Leonin Vanguard. That's a bit late, but that's okay. There's another land or Elves. Sure. I do have a Sweeper. I didn't draw it. So slightly interesting, but we are a bit of an impasse here. Yeah, this one's gonna grow, so that's a problem and a half. Definitely could use more removal type answers. Just not getting it quite yet. So our opponent's been stuck on mana while we had the opposite problem. And our opponent already milled 4 lands to help us out too. Well, 5 lands, and he's also dropped another Pride Mate. So what is this magical card? Let's draw a card. It's a Mortify. Into a call to the face. So first I'm just gonna Mortify the Thief of Sanity, that's a given. Oh wait, I cast Call? Okay, then I'm still gonna Mortify Thief of Sanity. Now that I think of Vraska's Contempt on Teysa Karlov, sure, so at least I don't have to worry about the air. No attacks. So let's just... One's also play... Oh, wait, what does he need 3 black mana for? Okay, what does he need 6 mana? Probably Carnage Tyrant. Hydroid Crisis says... So, I'll just block. Definitely need that Dawn of Hope. Okay, there's our Enforcer. So, time to start drawing cards. So, but we're still gonna get beaten down by Hydroid Crisis. No, shucks. Hostage Taker. And he's gonna take the Enforcer as well. You know what? I think that's game right there. Yeah. Let's concede this one. Yeah, our opponent it's only a matter of time before we got beat down by our own guys, so let's see. Play Crafter, cast down, Kitesail Freebooter. So what do we drop? Call to the Feast. Revival Revenge. Vraska's Contempt. Kinda weird considering it's spot removal. I'll just put one Eldest Reborn. Drop the Regal Bloodlord. Drop Teysa. Need to make 2 more cuts. The Bell Haunt's great. Settle the Wreckage is great too. In fact, you kind of want a third copy of that. Our opponent does have creatures, but not so many. I'll cut the Ethereal Absolution. So I still need to make 2 cuts. Let's cut 1 Enforcer and 1 Vanguard. So slightly more streamlined. Though it's more streamlined to answer their threats than to play out our own, so we might still have problems. But at least we got the Enforcer into Playcrafter combo. We just need to draw another land. Well, interesting that our opponent is very, very aggressive in mulling. I think our opponent knows we have a... well, it's either that or simply just no lands. We might have that problem later, so let's see about that. Okay, we're gonna get that okay. So let's see. Thief of Sanity. Oh no. Okay, just play the Pride Mate. So I'm the one that's stuck on lands, which is kind of embarrassing considering all these 3 drops here. Hostage Taker. So I definitely need the land. There you go. Probably gonna just Mortify. Playcrafter would have been better, but no. Jade Light Ranger. Yeah, that one we hit with Playcraft. Ooh, he's got Vraska's Contempt off the top. So definitely going to play the Playcrafter. Sacrifice Enforcer. Swing with this guy. So we know he's got Vraska's Contempt. Oh, that's what we force it. So I'm just gonna gain my life. Make him play it out. Since we know he was kind of hurting, since we know he's hurting already, and the negate's a nice ditch. So he plays the Vivian Reach. He's gonna go for lands. Hostage Taker's a nice pull. So I'm actually going to attack this guy. Then play Playcrafter. Then, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna sack the Playcrafter. Because he won't, even if he drew a land, he won't have mana to hostage take everything. And now with the cast down, I get to make him I get to make him ditch another land. Ooh, so there you go. And then I'm gonna just play the Resplendent Angel because I know he can only answer 1 out of 2. He can't answer both. There's the Vraska's Contempt on that. That's a relatively good call. And play Seraph. Still not enough to win it. That's enough to be annoying. Just Jade Knight Ranger. He gets a negate. He's gonna ditch that. He gets a land, so I can save Llanowar Elves. Sure, I can safely swing in with both of these. If he tries. In fact, I don't mind him double blocking at all. He might just single block though. Oh, he's gonna double block for the... He's thinking about it. If he single blocks, I do nothing. Okay, there you go. I didn't... No. Probably just me being careless, but then again... Yeah, he's down to one card. He needs to have an answer to the flyer. Memorial gets back Hostage Taker. He can cast it. I want to see which one he takes. Okay. Yeah, more. Okay, that's game. So doing quite well. Unfortunately, I have nothing to change out into. Okay, he now has creatures. Well, I knew that in the get-go. That's why I had those. I'm gonna side out the Eldest Reborn in for a Consecrate and Consume. But life equal to its power is a weird one. And he does have Planeswalkers. You know what? Let's just keep the Eldest Reborn. In fact, okay, in the assumption I do both, I'll just ditch one Kitesail Freebooter. The Freebooter is pretty much just there to, well, block Thief of Sanity. That's... And maybe steal some of his precious removal. So this one, okay. Unfortunately, I have to play Plains into Chapel if I want to get Freebooter early, so I'm definitely keeping this. Opponent is mulliganing very aggressively. Okay. At a 4-card hand, this is called the Luis of Scott Vargas special. Okay, I can play now, safely play Memorial since I drew my swamp. So swamp, Freebooter, clear the way. Take out the Assassin's Trophy. We know he has creatures now. Oh, I forgot. Well, I did keep the Settle because I knew he had stuff. I'm just gonna play the Pride Mate. No, opponent's probably gonna play Jade Knight range. We don't have spot removal, so the Elf is gonna be in. Ooh, this one's probably not so great for our opponent right now. I could just... Yeah, I'm gonna just play this one. Gain some life, buff the Pride Mate, attack with everything, force him... Ooh, nice discard. So our opponent can still Krasis. Krasis for 3, not too bad. We can still attack in with both of these guys. Oh, Leonin Vanguard, that messes up the combat map right there. So it's now 4-4. Yeah, he's gonna have to block with both, which I'm perfectly fine with. Now I could settle the wreckage just to get rid of the elves, but that might be a bit overkill. I might still have to do it anyway. Well, let's play another Hydroid Krasis, so that's okay, we'll resolve that. Let's swing with the Bell Haunt. Okay, opponent's down to 2 cards. So, definitely want to play the Archer for Asuka. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next. Swing with Bell Haunt. Next turn I swing with both. So our opponent quite unfortunate, and we had to mulligan all 3 games. And not just mulligan, but very aggressive mulliganing too. And he's got the... Well, when you shock your hand full of rares, of course you're gonna have something decent. So So I know. Oh, he ditched the Thief of Sanity also. He's probably looking for one of them sweepers. Might be counterintuitive if you're playing all your elves though, but oh well, he is playing them out, so I'll leave it at that. Okay. So let's just pay the 2 life. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna just block that. Okay, that's a 4-3. Yeah, it's fine. So make 2 tokens. I could just play. I'm gonna just play the Plague Crafter now. No, you know what? I'll start drawing cards. Our opponents had to trade out everything just to get to that point. So we'll let that resolve. So remember to save up 4 mana. Or not. Okay. Might be yeah, it's premature to drop it. I'm also gonna hold off on the Orzhov Enforcer. We kind of have a winning. We're kind of in a winning position right now. So the Assassin's Trophy on Assassin's Trophy, sure, which gets him back on Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, and keep. Well, let's take advantage of this. So I'm gonna lose the other Leonin Vanguard maybe. Or just do nothing. Yeah, he's gonna play the Assassin's Trophy now. Perfectly fine with me. So wait. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 6, yeah. So I'm just playing out the Enforcer. It gives me plenty of options between Memorial to Glory, Arch of Oraska. Okay, there's the Vivian Reed.
I didn't live through hell to lose to you.
Okay, so let's see.
You can't stop.
So that's my cue to. Okay, let's. That's my cue to sacrifice. Get my tokens. Yep, and that's game. Takes out enough blockers no matter what. So we're doing better, though we did have some cooperation from our opponent's deck. Namely, that our opponent's deck refused to cough up the needed mana. Wait, no. Actually, I'm very curious. I would really like to know what went through our opponent's mind when he was mulliganing. Was it just because of the mana? Was it just because it was like no mana, all mana, or could it have been something more specific? Like, I'm gonna keep mulliganing until I get this very specific hand. Usually, I have that option on my 7 card draw. Like, well, this one's okay. I have a 2, 3, 4. That's not an option when you after your first mulligan. Like, you have to accept whatever you've got. Usually, when you make your first mulligan, you have to accept that you're already playing to a disadvantage. Oh yeah, speaking of mulligans, I'm already curious as to how much more time the London Mulligan's gonna eat. Now I saw the London Mulligan. It's actually very interesting. Like, you keep drawing 7 hands, but you have to start agonizing over decisions like, okay, I'm going to bin X cards. Which ones do I bin? Like, Usually we're looking for the 7-card God Hand. Let's say we get that 7-card God Hand, but we've mulliganed twice. Which 2 of your babies do you put back on the library in your library? Now, our opponent's in an interesting position. He's played out 3 guild gates. So, and this is atypical of a guild gates deck. I'm gonna hold back for 1 turn, because our opponent has to play a threat by this point. Jade Light Ranger, okay. Let's see what our opponent... Okay, Krasis. So this is yet Sultai again. If he keeps this on top, it's a sure sign that he has a blue source here. Which probably means we should hold off on Mortify. Oh no, he's ditched it. There's a Wild Growth Walker. He's ditched it. Oh, he's keeping that one. So I might still hold off on the Mortify too, because the Wild Growth Walker is the most dangerous thing I have to worry about. So I'm gonna just attack with both. He might just hold back actually. Now interesting is so I'm just going to wait for our opponent to cast the Wild Growth Walker, cast something else, we mortify it in response. Oh, he's gonna swing. I'm not gonna mortify it. Now our opponent, Vivian Reed. Ooh, that's very suspicious. So unfortunately, I don't think I can wait. I'm gonna just play the mortify. So this is an interesting hold. Like, you spent a lot of time doing nothing. That said, we've also spent a lot of time dilly-dallying with just these guys. So Branch Walker. So definitely gonna get our revenge first. So the interesting thing now is that all of a sudden, even if our opponent plays this now, well, it'll actually be great. He gains some life back. Should I have waited for it? Probably not. Because our opponent plays that. Okay. There's the Wild Growth Walker. Gets 1 Explore. So he will go back up to 8. Whoa, it's so many tap lands. That's very interesting. So the question now is, could I, because if our opponent has another Jade Light Ranger, probably has, even Call to the Feast into Pride Mate is not going to win me the game. I might have to just start swinging at Reed first. Yeah, that's probably I have to knock down Reed a little bit. It sucks, but I kind of have to do it. Because this is very close, because as soon as it gets indestructible, I got nothing. Well, thank goodness he's willing to throw away the Wild Growth Walker. I'm actually very curious. Why would you throw away the... My nagging suspicion is Find and Finality. So I'm just gonna play Call to the Priest. And yeah, this is begging to get Find and Find Out. I'm just gonna end the turn right there. I would note that even if our opponent is playing a budget version of Sultai, it's still quite good. I have to be very careful. So let's place Woodland Stream. Yeah, I probably would have just kept the Wild Growth Walker. The life you gain is a lot more important. Okay, there's the hybrid trace. Doesn't matter, I'm swinging everything at Vivian right now. Mortify would be great. Vraska's Contempt would also be just as great. Fortunately, I got Nightmare. So I have to send all here. Our opponent probably has spot removal for Johnny's Pride Mate because that's the only reason you're keeping the life linkers alive.
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
So what did he draw? Wild Growth Walker, so he's got the combo again. Yeah, we're a little bit behind at this point. Ethereal Absolution would be backbreaking here. There's the Vraska's Contempt, so still doesn't matter. We still have to swing at Vivian Reed. Or do I? Because we know there's another Vivian Reed coming. We're probably gonna take damage now. Oh, here's the Basilica Bellhaunt. Opponent discarded Llanowar Elves. I'm going to just... Yeah, I think I can ignore Vivian Reed at this point. I'm just gonna... No, we're still gonna be in trouble with the life gain package. Revenge did quite a number. We need to be even more aggressive. Considering our opponent played all these skill gates and tap lands, it's very interesting. Incubation Druid, okay. This one's also very good. So I know this one becomes. So this is a virtual 3/5. We really need to just have answers for Hydroid Crisis and we can win. That's all we have to aim for at least. But we also have to take out Vivian Reed. Well, there's one answer. Yeah, opponent's probably gonna just adapt this one in response. It's a bit sad that that after this, I'm gonna be spending the next turn sending the Spirit Token to ping Vivian every time. Yes, but the catch is, I can't spend too much or else he just plays the other Vivian and it's start all over again. Probably might be better off just doing that. We need one of our, we just need one of our life gain hacks. Oh shoot, that's a problem. So Hostage Taker takes Basilica Bellhaunt, recasts it, gains even more life. So our opponent kept all the rares, but that's a... Oh, he's gonna take the token. That's an interesting call. But I would have said the token wasn't worth the time. You could even just minus 3 if you really had to. Well, not drawing lands is also a problem. I'm just gonna send all attacks here. Yeah, he's gonna get a few blocks in. Yes, you can even sacrifice the elves. Okay. Yeah. Not enough in the...
You can't stop nature.
And with no way to hit Vivian Reed. Yeah. I spent it on the Crisis. In hindsight, I probably should have spent it in the wall. Anyway, we're gonna get more removal now. Get more removal. Yeah, just get more removal. That's really the only mantra there. Our opponent didn't commit more the hostage taker, because if I had one removal spell, that just hits Vivian right there and then. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, let's go for the desperation hit. Now, I'm doing this only to see if our opponent has negate.
Nothing stands before nature.
Okay, let's see if he has the negate. This one's really for knowing what their opponent's like. So our opponent doesn't have the negate. But we're probably still not gonna win. Our opponent has 2 minutes. We're still probably not gonna win because any creature our opponent plays is indestructible. You'll need Plague Crafters, Exile spells, so many things to get around it. So let's see. The trample is also an issue, so I can't just keep making tokens to chump block. If I get another flyer like one of my Seraph of the Scales, ooh. When it goes for the greedy 10-10. Yeah, let's concede right here. Well, so now that we know that's what our opponent's got, we're gonna go with Eldest Reborn, Plague Crafter, Consume, Cast Down. So that's our entire removal package. We'll drop the Settles actually. Drop the Ethereal we keep the Ethereal Absolution. We'll drop the Revival Revenge. Drop the Call to the Feast. Keep Teysa, keep Seraph. Need to make 4 more cuts. I could just cut 2 of the Vanguards and 2 of the Vanguards, the Regal Bloodlord. Probably one Orzhov Enforcer. No, the Orzhov Enforcer is doing good work. I'll cut 1 Pridemate. So no guarantees this one works out. It is the tried and true Wilderness. No, not Wilderness. It's the tried and true exploration package. Definitely have to mulligan this. I could say sure I could draw into White Source, but no, let's not gamble that. Okay, definitely keeping this one. I have to sadly ditch that, but we do need to draw into at least 1 more mana, preferably 2 more. Okay. Wild Growth Walker. I'll just cast a Mortify now, so it doesn't suspect I have cast down. Branch Walker. We're gonna save our removal for the Wild Growth Walker when possible, so I'm going to just play out even more creatures. I might even take 1 hit, see if I can luckily draw into another land for Basilica Bellhaunt. Branch Walker, that's okay. Cry of the Carnarium, it's not okay. Wait, no, it's now okay. So basically, No, I could swing with Pride Mate just to... Yeah, I'll probably swing with Pride Mate anyway. Yeah, just force the trade out. I'm gonna still take the hit from the Branch Walker again. Actually, well, let's see. Let's see him play a land first. Hostage Taker. Okay. Nice. We cast down the Hostage Taker. Get another trigger. So let's cast a Pride Mate first. Then cast a cast down on Hostage Taker. So we got a Pride Mate that is not gonna fall to cry anytime soon. And our opponent has to ditch another card. Ooh, nice. One more mana, we get Eldest. Okay, he ditched the Cry of the Carnarium. Next turn we get Eldest Reborn. Probably will try to aim for Hostage Taker. Okay, opponent's taking damage. He might be playing Vivian Reed. Hopefully we draw into another mana. I'll basically just swing everything at Vivian. Oh no, just cast out. So, gets Vivian Reed. It's gonna definitely keep it on top. Oh shoot. I want to incentivize... Yes, keeping it on top. I want to get at least another removal spell. Okay, I did not. Yeah, sure. Let's see if our opponent blocks with Jade Light Ranger. I can just play Teysa Karlov. So our opponent's definitely going to play Vivian for sure. So we can't kill it immediately. We could...
The wilds are my shield.
So hopefully we draw another mana. We want to kill... We swing at Teysa. Ooh, Carnage Tyrant. Okay, blocks with that. So here comes the question. I can play Eldest Reborn, but I want to get Carnage Tyrant with it. He's gonna end up with Carnage Tyrant anyway. Actually, he could use Vivian Reed to dig up for lands. I don't know if this is land or not, so I'm just gonna force him to sack that right now. Okay, he did have the land. So I will be facing down against a Carnage Tyrant. Maybe I could draw into another Eldest Reborn. Could be another Vivian and he decides to nuke the Eldest Reborn. So it gives us one turn reprieve. But yeah, there's the Vivian Reed. There goes. We can kiss the Eldest Reborn goodbye.
Get that out of here.
So first we take out Vivian.
I always survive.
Next we play Resplendent Angel and Dawn of Hope. One more land we can... Resplendent Angel can hold off Carnage Tyrant. That's not it, but... Let's just lose the play card here. I knew that's why I put it there. Now, our opponent's in top deck mode, which is the good news. Okay, first one pass down. And we have a bit of an engine. Gonna hold back on the Orzhov Enforcer for now. Because we can just keep making soldier tokens for the time being. Hostage Taker. Okay, can't recast Teysa yet, so that should be fine. So hopefully draw. Okay, we didn't draw into it here. So I'm actually gonna just hit our opponent. We gain some life. We draw a card. Okay, it's still another land, so we have to play Orzhov Endorsed. So our opponent can play Teysa Karlov, which, yeah, it's annoying, but doesn't really do anything. Well, it does something if our opponent manages to get tokens. Branch Walker. I'm actually incentivized to just well, I could just hold this guy. Well, if our opponent gives us the opportunity like this, Orzhov Enforcer, block, gets us a token, we can start hitting our opponent in the air. So I'm gonna hold off on this because Carnage Tyrant's a real issue. Growth Walker, okay, that's not it. It'll eventually become an issue, so I'll wait it out. So our opponent attacks, I block with a token, I draw a card. Then I make a token afterwards. I guess that's it. Well, opponent's not giving us that time of day, so just keep making tokens until ad infinitum. Well, ad infinitum's better. Okay, so I will attack with everything. Just figured that I need to keep at least 2 mana in reserve. So I can draw 1 card. Okay. Let's draw another. Let's draw another card because I'm gonna play the Pride Mate. Now I can now if our opponent does something like Find Finality. Okay, another Wild Growth Walker. So we can make multiple tokens. Drawing so many lands. Might as well draw a card. So you know something's up when your opponent's just throwing creatures away just to draw cards. To be fair, it's not just drawing cards, it's... Ooh, that's a nice one. So... let's end the turn there. So we can actually start. Oh wait, and the nice thing is all the lands I'm drawing are still quite useful, so let's just let's just attack with because these are 0/2s. Let's just attack with everything. We're representing lethal, so our opponent has to respectfully block everything. Actually, okay, not quite. Goes on to 2. Draw 2. Yeah, let's draw 2 cards. Okay, let's end the turn right there. And yeah, that's okay. So we managed to eke out that long win. Now that our opponent has a good idea what our whole deck can do. Do I make any more changes? I was probably gonna side in some. I think this is perfectly fine. Let's just go with this. Ooh, we have the Dawn of Hope into completely nothing. Our opponent's deck is slightly slower because of all the tap lands I've seen, so I'm willing to keep this one. Probably the biggest mistake I've made. Oh, he's taking the hit for an early land war. Oh, yep. First mistake, but at least I can run into an Orzhov Enforcer turn 2. Dawn of Hope turn 3. Wildwood Walker into Orzhov Enforcer, so even if our opponent gains some life, we don't get overrun by the Walker. I might actually just be tempted to Vraska's Contempt this time. Nah, let's just play the Dawn of Hope. Because we know we got Seraph of the Scales next turn. We've got the more... So Jade Knight Ranger, yeah. We're taking... Oh, Hostage Taker 2. Oh, he's ditching it. He's not ditching that. So I have to hold on to the Vraska's Contempt because I know there's a Hydroid Crisis incoming. I could just play Seraph of the Scales now. Then next turn just... Then... Okay, Hostage Take. Lose the Seraph. So we have to retake the Seraph by using our Hydroid Crisis. Let's get that one. So never gain life, can't pay it, so next. Opponent's down to 3 cards. He's gonna redraw with Hydroid Crisis. Thankfully, Seraph the Scales can block. Well, not quite ad infinitum, but good enough. No, take the hit. This next turn, I'm gonna play Orzhov Enforcer and make a soldier. Though I might. Okay, so it's still 4/4, so I don't need the death touch. Still okay. So let's play the Orzhov Enforcer again. So we can safely block with Seraph. Just trade. Some smaller tokens. Unless our opponent plays yet another Hydroid Crisis, then it becomes a race. I have the Carnarium. Okay, let that resolve. So I don't get this token. Branch Walker. Very interesting, but so we need to draw into a removal spell. Let's make it. Maul of the Glory. No attacks. End turn. He's gonna swing. We're gonna block. Okay, let's make sure we're blocking there. So draw a card. Godless Shrine. Okay, so make another token. interference and with the lag. Okay, there's our token. Yep, drawing way too many lands. Let's just play another plains. I could actually just attack. No, force him to trade with the branch walker. So let's gain, because I still have the mana there. Mortify. Kinda wish I played this one now. One's taking. Okay, he's gonna play one huge Hydroid Crisis. That's the only reason you get like 8 mana. So this is X equals 6. But between the Wild Growth Walker and the Hydroid Crisis, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Isolated chapel, so that's not what I want. And I want these tokens, not these tokens. So I'm gonna end the turn there. So this is just the first crisis, so I might be in trouble. Gets another land. Yeah, there could be some merit to playing some tap lands. Yuck. I don't know if he's got okay, thankfully he didn't have that. So I'm gonna end the turn here because I could just make 2 tokens just to block these 2 if I can't have to. We're gonna read. I might try to snipe the enchantment.
Let's see if you're worthy.
No, he's not. He's not. He's gonna ignore it.
Balance comes.
So he's gonna go for big creatures. Carnage Tyrant. Okay, no, he's got the land. Ranger. Okay. Let's see if he attacks. He knows I have a Memorial to Glory, so he won't attack just like that. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay, that's better. Lets me draw a card. So Leon and Vanguard into a Seraph. So he's starting to ditch creatures also, so that's not too bad. I still need to have an answer for the Basilica Bell Haunt is good. So I'm gonna play that just to force him to discard one of his many lands, so it's not so great. Now I'm gonna decline because I need to play Seraph. I'll just hold off on the Leon and Vanguard. I have no idea. I'm really curious as to what's going on. Both right now in the game and right behind me, but that's how things go. Everything's so weird and all that. Okay, so our opponent finally decided to pull the trigger on Dawn of Hope.
That can't help you now.
Probably means they have another Vivian Reed. So let's see what our opponent does. We're still definitely gonna swing with both. Okay, opponent's skipping. This couldn't be an all-land hand. Well, there goes my card draw engine, but that's okay. So gain life. So I'm gonna attack with both just to ensure I don't have to worry about that Vivian again. Okay, that went through.
Every defeat is a new beginning.
So I'm gonna hold off on the cast down. I'm suspecting there's another crisis in my future. Good news is we now have the way to dodge it all in the air. There's another hydrate crisis. X equals 10. Let that resolve. I'm gonna pull the trigger in the Memorial to Glory since using up all my mana is just as important. Okay, so we're definitely gonna keep swinging with Seraph and all that. Okay, so we're still on the land. No, people call this a drought, but it's kind of the opposite one. So, direct combat, gain life. Let's leave the Vanguard. No, let's attack with everything but the Vanguard. Opponent's gonna just... yeah. Probably opponent has a way to deal with the tokens later. Probably has another turn. It'll be annoying if our opponent just plays back-to-back cries. That'll mean he's really sideboarded against our for this matchup. Finality. You may put. Okay, so we lose all of these, but we still get 2 tokens. Opponent still has a full grip, so we're not out of the woods yet. So Wild Rose left. And here comes the Jade Light Ranger. Oh, Resplendent Angel. Actually, I'm gonna do another way just to be sure. How many times can I activate this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, just once. So this is gonna be annoying if I run into removal, but I have to play against it. It only gets +2/+2, so it dodges finality. It will not dodge any spot remove, real spot remove like that. So can I outpace an opponent's Wild Growth Walker? What do I need? Definitely Ethereal Absolution. There's so much gas in this graveyard that I want to take. So here comes... Yeah, now you're hiding thankfully it doesn't trigger this guy. Now let's see. Do we draw another land? Well, it's Arch of Ascanta. It is okay. Okay, places lands, draws into lands. We are not gonna win this game. So we got 1 turn to draw into something. Well, we did survive. Let's see, what did we? We survived 2 Crasises, 1 Vivian Reed. Quite a good number of stuff. Here's a problem. If we draw one of our Playcrafters, that does nothing. Yeah, so we're gonna lose this one, but we did give it a run. We did give our opponent a run for his money, and we got 1 win out of him. And a really long matchup at that. Here comes well good back number 2. Let's release that. And I'm gonna just concede right there. So people get really suspicious when you leave up a lot of mana and you still have a single card. And I did show him settle in the last game, so I'm gonna just concede right there. Spirit of the Spires. This is made for draft, afterlife draft. Okay, so we're 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 very long video. Whew. You know what? I'm gonna quickly pause this one. I'm gonna make a part 2 of this one. At least if we have part 2, it's gonna be really short and whatnot. But okay, so that's a reward. Let's crack that 1 pack. So that's it for this not so quick but quite interesting episode of the Magic Arena Run. Nice. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on notifications. Part 2 coming up soon. Stay tuned. Nice. Very nice. Thank you very much for watching and hope to see you guys again next time.